This is why you're here, Bee.
Transformers Bumblebee is the greatest Transformers movie ever made. Yes, better than Transformers 1. Yes, better than Revenge of the Fallen. And yes, even better than the 1986 animated movie. This time around, we have Travis Knight directing. He has a background in animated movies and was responsible for Kubo and the Two Strings, The Box Trolls, and Paranorman. That's right, it's not Michael Bay. Over the weekend, I had the privilege of seeing an early access screening of Bumblebee, and before it was released in theaters, I wanted to go step by step to tell you why it's the best movie based on a toy line ever. The beginning of this video is spoiler free, but I will let you know when that changes. Characters. Charlie Watson, played by the excellent actress Hailee Steinfeld, is probably the best human protagonist in all the Transformer films. Her position as an angsty teen with a sad backstory is both relatable and very well done. John Cena's role as grizzled army man antagonist is pretty bland and corny at times, but a couple of jokes weren't that bad, though most of them were pretty bad. Mr. Love Interest was pretty awkward and funny, which fit his character perfectly, but he was ultimately useless in the story and could have been excluded or replaced by a best friend character. Charlie Watson's family was a pretty stereotypical movie family, but it wasn't done terribly, so I'm okay with it not being super inventive. The Autobots and Decepticons were all diverse and brought a lot to the story, and that's including Dropkick, whose only discernible personality trait was his love of killing humans. Design of Transformers. Decepticons aren't all gray. In the Bay films, all the Decepticons were gray and looked like walking, talking tortilla chips. All Transformers are easier to tell apart because of their bright, vibrant colors that are unique to each Transformer. Transformers has always been a franchise that blends live action and animation so well. While on Earth, all the Transformers look realistic as if they were actually there, but this time, space scenes were more stylized and felt like a cartoon. This was a very interesting choice and made me feel like I was watching a reboot of the 80s TV show with all new graphics. Every fight scene on Cybertron was the coolest thing ever, and honestly, if they had made a 2-hour-long movie of just that, I would have been totally fine with it. Because of Travis Knight's background in animation, he has a really good way of conveying emotion through facial expressions on cartoons. This is why, through Bumblebee's eyes alone, you can tell his emotion and curiosity. Okay, now I'll be getting into spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, stop the video now. Retconning the other movies. It has been announced that after the Bumblebee movie, Hasbro will be resetting the entire Transformers cinematic universe. But considering how amazing this film is, they might just go ahead and make this the first in the new franchise. In the last night, Bumblebee was shown fighting in World War II, but after reading a few history books, I found out that World War II takes place in the 40s. So if Bumblebee landed on Earth in the 80s, he absolutely couldn't have been there. However, Bumblebee does lose his memory in the new movie, so maybe he just went to Earth, then went back to Cybertron, and then went back to Earth again. But then he started fighting Sector 7, so wouldn't they know that he's already a good guy if he's been there before? But maybe Bumblebee is only known by the Order of Witwickens, and this movie is how the government learns about Transformers. At a point in the movie, Shatter wants to tell the Decepticons to come to Earth because it is the new Autobot base, but Megatron is already there in the ice, right? Wouldn't the Decepticons go to Earth and try and find their leader anyway? At the end of the movie, Optimus Prime is on Earth with Bumblebee, but didn't we see him come in an asteroid with Jazz, Ratchet, and Lockdown in the first movie? Well, that fourth meteor could have been someone else who wasn't in the first movie, like Jolt, the best Autobot.
Jolt! Electrify!
So, there are two options. This new movie has a lot of plot holes relating to the previous movies that require a lot of hand-waving and suspension of disbelief to explain. Or, this movie doesn't care about the garbage that went on in those other films and might be a soft reboot we have all been waiting for. Not a Michael Bay film. No slow-motion scenes of robots catching humans again and again and again. No overly saturated and overly sexualized shots of young women. No jarring scenes full of explosions and motion blur. I personally do like the Michael Bay Transformers films, but I do recognize that they are the same thing over and over again with zero substance. Story. Steinfeld's acting and your compassion for the big yellow Autobot will bring you pretty close to having the feels. Maybe not all the way to emotion, but pretty close, which is saying a lot considering the previous movies weren't particularly deep. If you want to feel something or learn about yourself, go watch Good Will Hunting, or The Departed, or any of the other amazing Matt Damon films that exist, except Suburbicon. But if you want to watch a movie about giant robots beating up aliens, this franchise is the best at it. And that's including the Power Rangers movie and Pacific Rim. This movie was made for 4 types of people. Kids, because of the lightheartedness and bright colors. Teens, because of all the angst and the idea of finding your place in the world. Adults who grew up watching the show because it's pure 80s nostalgia. and just general fans of Transformers movies. It's like all the other ones, but it actually has a good story and nice characters. Generic kid finds alien movie. This film is not entirely original. It has a lot of similar elements to the hit films Iron Giant and E.T. and most movies of this type of premise. Adolescent without a father who doesn't have a lot of friends finds an alien by pure chance. Needs to take care of and shelter alien so the government won't capture it and do unspeakable things to it. Alien runs amok around the house. Government agents discover alien being hidden by child and things go south. Kids use power of love or whatever to save the day. There's even a scene in the movie where Bumblebee goes berserk and his eyes turn red while he's shooting everything, exactly like the berserk scene from Iron Giant. Do all these similarities mean that Bumblebee is a bad film? No, exactly the opposite. I love Iron Giant and I love E.T., so having these plot lines shown again with a new coat of paint and a sprinkle of action is great in my book. And even though the premise is similar, it's told so well that I'm not thinking about the fact that it's E.T. with mechs. Miscellaneous. Alright, I'm just going to tell you guys, I love the Transformers franchise. I've seen all the movies at least 3 times. I've watched the garbage 1986 film that doesn't hold up at all. And this movie made me really excited about future Transformers films because this one is very good and I know it's going to do very well in theaters. And so the Transformers franchise is definitely going to be getting a lot more substance to it. This movie felt like it should be the first one in the franchise. So if they're going to start something new and base it off of this, then I am super excited about it. Now, all they need to do is make a movie about Jolt. Thanks for watching.